Hi friends, it's Tanya with Sweet Tea Stampin' Spot, and I am joining you for a Let's Do Lunch on Tuesday, March 8th. So it is the second Tuesday of the month already. I can't believe it. The month is just flying by already. But it's March 8th, and I hope you are having a great week so far. We had some beautiful weather here in the Chesapeake, Virginia area over the weekend, really nice warm spring temperatures, and then we took a little bit of a nosedive for the next few days. So about 30 degrees colder today than it was this weekend. So not quite winter, but definitely not the 80 degrees that we had this weekend. So if you're joining me live today, say hi and let me know where you're joining from, or if you're watching a replay, let me know where you're watching from. So hi Cheryl, thanks for joining me today. And I'm going to be sharing a card that I did on Sunday with my group, my Fun Bunch stamp group on Sunday afternoon. It's a very springy card, and I'm using one of the newer stamp sets out of the mini catalog. So hopefully you'll enjoy it, and it's very timely for spring. So I worked in several of the in colors, so I'll go over that in a moment. Hi Irene. I know you're in Texas, so thanks for joining, Irene. And I meant to pull this up on my computer in front of me so I can see comments better, because when I flip my phone down in a second here, I won't be able to see any comments or feedback. So let me do that, and I will also share it. So I'll share it over to the community page in case someone wants to watch us from the group. So if you're not a part of the Sweet Tea Stampers community group, it's a group open to anyone, not just demonstrators. And it's just a little community of Sweet Tea Stampers and people that like Stampin' Up! Products and crafting and sharing in that way. So it's a group, not a business page. So you can post pictures of whatever you're creating there. You can ask questions about Stampin' Up! Related things. If it's not Stampin' Up! Related, I will probably not keep the post up, because I want to keep it around Stampin' Up! And our love of paper crafting and creativity in a positive way. So, but if you want to join that group, it's a public group open to anyone. Of course, my team page for my demonstrators, that's a private group, so only active demonstrators can be part of that group, but that is a separate group. So, so don't worry about that. You don't have to be a demonstrator to be part of the community. And let's see, I guess that's it. So we've rounded up and finished up celebration last week on Monday, on the 28th. And so we're just kind of in a little bit of a period here, transitioning soon to the new catalog. So let me flip the phone down and I'll talk for a moment about things that are coming up with catalog retirement lists, to keep your ears and eyes open for that. And oh, besides the warm weather, we got the pollen. That's the other thing. I've been having to use the Flonase, and so have my kids. The pollen has really kicked up. That warm weather started budding everything, and pollen is high, has been high. So if I sneeze in the middle of this, I'm sorry. I will try not to, but 'tis the season of spring. So let me flip us down and I'll get to doing some stamping and creating with you. And if you're not creating, of course, some of you may be on a lunch break or just taking some time to watch and relax, and that's fine too. But if you are creating, I love to know what you're creating. All right, so let's see here. We have, of course, as I mentioned, oh, I flipped it around. I didn't mean to do that. Whoops, sorry about that. Hi there. Glad to see you on here and watching. I'm just getting started with some stamping, so thanks for joining us, Diana/Muggins. Thanks for joining. All right, so the mini catalog is what I'm going to feature a stamp set out of on my project today. And just a note about this actually goes all the way through the end of June. So this will be around for several more months. And there's lots of fun products in here. I've been sharing them throughout the first couple of months of the year, and I'll continue to share with these over the next few months. But the stamp set I'm going to be using today is on page 36. It's called Flowing Flowers. So it is a standalone stamp set. It's not part of a suite. Doesn't have a bundle. It doesn't have a die or punch coordinating. It's just the stamp set. But it is a special stamp set because it's this distinctive style, and I'll show you that when I stamp. You can see some of the texturized parts of that and how pretty the stamps with just one ink color. So I'm going to show you some things that are like that. And then also it has a lot of great greetings that have a nice font as well and a variety. So I love this one, again, on page 36, called Flowing Flowers. That's what I'm going to feature on today's project. But I do want to mention before I start stamping that the annual catalog only goes through the month of April. Actually, the last day for it is May 2nd. So what that means is later this month, specifically March 23rd, so in like 2 weeks, basically, a little over 2 weeks, we will have the retiring list for this catalog. So one thing I want to remind you about, people always forget, is our in colors. The collection here on page 123 and any products that have in colors will absolutely be retiring. So that's your Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Bumblebee, Magenta Madness, and Misty Moonlight. It's just that group there. It's retiring as of 2022 when this catalog retires. The problem is that if you've been a Stampin' Up! Customer or you like to have all the colors, you know that these will sell out. So if you want to get a re-inker, I would say do it now rather than waiting until the retiring list comes out. If you want to get some cardstock, or maybe you didn't get all the ink pads, or maybe you want the blends markers, now is the time to do that for this group here, the Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Bumblebee, Magenta Madness, and Misty Moonlight. So they will definitely be retiring in lots of products that have those colors in them. So keep that in mind. If you're placing an order anytime soon, put it on there. I know right now a couple of the refills were not available. I haven't checked today, but they are expected to come back in. But I would say be ready to order them as soon as they're back in. So keep that in mind if you need help figuring that out, or if you want me to kind of keep my eye on it too. I just need to know specifically what items you're looking for, because once they're gone, they're gone. And yeah, so that's one thing I wanted to mention. But March 23rd is when our retiring list will come out. So as you know, products won't be guaranteed much long after that. And if they sell out, they sell out. So just a note about the annual catalog. And then a new one will launch on May 3rd to customers. Of course, if you're a demonstrator, you get to pre-order from the new one beginning in April. So that's exciting stuff for us as demonstrators. So if you would like that perk in the future, sign up to be a demonstrator. It's the easiest sign-up process ever. Picking a starter kit is so easy. You pick $125 in product. You pay $99 plus tax. Shipping's included. And it can be any product you want. Anything that's currently available can be included in your starter kit. So just a note about that. I will mention, some of you have seen me use, and I'm not going to be using it today, but the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, the mini one, is currently on sale. So excuse me, that is on page 153, number 1 there, the mini one. I've used it before here on the Facebook Live, and it's normally $60. It's on sale for 20% off at $48. In addition, there's about 14 bundles from these pages here, not from the mini catalog, but from the regular catalog, and I have a list of them if you want them, that are also 20% off. So a stamp set and die set bundle, there's about 14 of them. So just keep that in mind. Again, that's through the whole month of March. And they did let us know that if something sells out, they will have to turn that item off for the sale. But right now, I didn't notice any of them sold out. So just keep that in mind for the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. If you would like that, it's a great time to do that. Okay. So I do have a host code open for the month of March. And you can, of course, find lots of information for me and my events at tanyareed.stampinup.net. I have my March calendar full of events virtually and in person. And then that's our host code for the month of March. And I will attach a link to shopping with the host code on this video description and details. So keep that in mind if you're placing an order in March. And let's get stamping. So like I said, Flowing Flowers. It is a 9-piece set. It is red rubber, so it's not the photopolymer. And we're going to get to stamping. And I'm using the in colors, but not the retiring ones. I'm going to be using the newer ones, the Pale Papaya, Polished Pink, Soft Succulent, and Fresh Freesia. So a lot of spring light colors here in the palette. All right. So I'm going to be taking a piece of basic white cardstock. I'm going to take a couple of them, but first I'm going to start with this one. And I'm going to use Magenta Madness and a little pale papaya. And this piece is basically 1 inch by 4 inches. Okay, I'm going to bring in a little extra grid paper pad here. And where's my stamp set? So I'm going to start with the greeting, and I'm going to choose the one, I think this one's really fun, sending a card instead of a text. So I'm going to use that greeting, and then I'm going to take this little triple flower stamp and stamp that on my little, this will basically be my label or greeting label. So we're going to start with that one. So anyone have a favorite in color that's retiring? Anyone gonna really miss one of them when they're gone? Again, Bumblebee, Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Magenta Madness, Misty Moonlight. Any favorite of those that you're gonna miss when it's gone? I have a favorite, but I'll see if anybody else has one in the comments. All right, so there's our greeting, just sending a card instead of a text. That's kind of fun. And then the triple flower stamp, I'm going to use the pale papaya for that. And I'm just going to add that kind of on either end here. Because if I had chosen like happy birthday, that's a little bit longer than this greeting, or just a note, that would have filled up more space. But this just kind of adds a little flowers, and you can kind of see how they are texturized there. And I'll show you with some other colors in a moment. Misty Moonlight, 100% agree. Agree, Diana. Misty Moonlight, I'm going to be very sad to see it go. Maybe it'll return one day in a future life or a future catalog. All right, so that is the greeting part. And I'll put that to the side. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, these are the ribbons that are currently with the in colors. They offer these in all 5 of the in colors. So Pale Papaya, Polished Pink, Fresh Freesia, and then we also have the Evening Evergreen and Soft Succulent. This is the open weave ribbon. So I'm going to be using a piece of this. My question to you, those that are wanting to comment, which of these 3 do you want me to use? I'm just going to use one on the card. And so Pale Papaya, Polished Pink, or Fresh Freesia. And I'm using all 3 of the colors in the stamping. The card base will be Fresh Freesia, just so you know. So if I get a vote, we will pick one of those. And if not, I'll pick one. So, all right. Then I'm going to take another piece of basic white, and it's going to be 3.5 by 4 1/4. And I'm going to be stamping on this piece next. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring back in that triple flower stamp and stamp that in the polished pink, and kind of just put it over on the side here. So you can really see, and that's how it's stamped. So it gives you quite a bit of texture and depth to the flowers just with one ink color. So far we have a vote for the pink, the polished pink for the ribbon. All right. All right, then I'm going to take the large single flower. So there's 3 different flower stamps in this set, the triple that I've been using, and now this large one. I'm going to take this one and stamp it in Fresh Freesia. Move this out of the way. And this one has a lot of texture, and I'm going to make sure it inks up nicely by holding it like this and patting it firmly. Not squishing it, but patting it. Some people mash it in there and then get ink all around the block. That isn't necessary, but these pads are squishy. All right, and we're going to stamp this one kind of in this bottom corner. And again, you see lots of depth to that color, and that's again just the Fresh Freesia stamped one time. Irene also votes pink. I think we're going pink, ladies and gentlemen. If there's any gentlemen watching, I don't know, my husband could be watching. He should be watching. He's on his lunch break. He just called me a few minutes ago, right before I started. So, all right. Then I'm going to take this large piece here, which does have a little bit of a leaf part of it, and then some sprinkles there. And I'm going to actually come in and use my sponge daubers to add the color to the stamp. So I'm going to still use Pale Papaya, Fresh Freesia, and then I'm going to bring in the Soft Succulent for the leaves. So let's start with the lightest color. When you do daubering, when you dauber or add color like this to a stamp, it is best to definitely use the lightest color first and then build in your other colors. So I'm going to just dauber the Pale Papaya first. I'm going to do it right in the center of that flower. and then where the sprinkles are. Okay. Just putting the ink right on there. Then I'm going to come in with my fresh Freesia. And I like to use my dauber on my ink pad kind of around the edge, because when you stamp, you tend to put your stamp right in the center. So when you dauber, I always go to the outside edges to pick up the ink. That's just me, because it tends to be a little more concentrated there. And then when I go to stamp, it won't be drawing ink from the middle of the pad. I'm probably shaking the camera a little bit. Sorry about that. All right. And then we got to add a little bit of green on the leaves. So just dauber that on there and tap it on. And it's hard to see probably, but I can see the color changing on the red rubber there. Now I'm going to huff on it a little bit. That just basically means breathe on it. And then we're going to stamp this in the top section. And we should get a trio of colors here. And we do. We've got the fresh Freesia, a little bit of the pale Papaya, and the soft Succulent. So all three of those stamped on there. All right. And that's all the stamping we're going to do. This is an easy card. Now I am going to add the ribbon. So I've got 2 bows for pink. So that's what we're going to go with, the polished pink. I'm going to grab about 8 inches of that. I'm just closing my ink pads as I'm moving things around because I tend to put my hand in it. All right, so let's grab our card base, a standard card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at the 4 1/4 mark. I can move this little pad out of the way. And we'll use our bone folder to crease it. All right, and forgot to put that there. Now, this piece, we're just going to take it and center it and do it flat on the card front. So again, just some nice spring colors, some easy stamping. The stamp set does a lot of work for you. You can definitely make it more complex if you wanted to, or complicated, but I think it's sometimes just prettier to just utilize stamps, ink, and paper. So that's flat there. Then I'm going to take my ribbon and just on one end, wrap it around. Thank you. I enjoyed it as well. Fun stamping, easy stamping. Just do a little double knot with that open weave ribbon. Keeps it really soft. And we'll grab some dimensionals out of my little thing here. Put a couple of these on the back of the label or tag. And then we'll trim up the ribbon at the end. So this gets popped up. And I'm just going to stick that kind of right across that center area where there's some blank space. Grab those scissors again. Trim it. Like that. And there you have it. So our Flowing Flowers card. And of course, you could have used other greetings out of the set. Let me twist this ribbon a little bit so it doesn't cover up the words so much. But there you go. Easy peasy. So I hope you've enjoyed today's stamping. Again, let me know if you have any questions about any of the March promotions, meaning the stamp sets and die sets, the bundles that are on sale. There's like 14 of them. And the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is also on sale for 20% off. And I'd love to help get you an order in if you need to do that. And let me know if you have any questions. I will share more with you as the month goes on. Of course, you can always check my website there and see. I even load my my virtual events in there. So like the Let's Do Lunch and the virtual craft togethers, I put those on the schedule as well. So, and if you're local here to me in Hampton Roads, in the South Side region of Hampton Roads, Virginia, I'd love to see you in person. I'll be, we've been working on the studio a little bit more. And so I hope to have a video quick soon in the near future with some updates on how that progress is going downstairs. All right, everybody, have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.